Before you were able to walk, talk, and think, somebody had your whole entire life mapped out and scripted out. They had your religion, your ideology, your morality, your political affiliations, and your sexuality all chosen for you. And your only task in that was to accept it and to obey it without question. In today's video, we're going to be talking about why everything you believe was chosen for you. See, there is one thing that is stopping you from becoming your true, authentic self. Guess what that is? Indoctrination. If you don't know you were indoctrinated, you don't recognize indoctrination, and you don't know how to break indoctrination, it is impossible for you to be your true, authentic self because we've been brainwashed and lied to across the fucking board. They hit us from all sides. So let's get started. Like I said in the beginning, when you came to this earth, you had no script, no belief system, no ideology. You had no idea of what was sinful and evil. You didn't even know what was good or bad. You was just like this wall, a blank, clean slate. All you had was potential. But then life started to happen. You became conscious. And your mama and daddy, they went to work on you. The school went to work on you. The church went to work on you. And society as a whole went to work on you. And I'm going to introduce you guys to the indoctrination pipeline. The first level of the indoctrination pipeline was your parents. See, when we became children and we was listening to our parents and mom and dad, they never actually sat us down and told us the origin of their beliefs. They never told us where their beliefs came from. How we learned about their beliefs, they enforced it. Day after day, year after year. And if we didn't agree with what they was telling us, we got our ass beat. See, it's this thing called the imprint period. And whatever you've seen, whatever your household was like before the age of 7, when you turn 7 years old, that becomes locked into your personality. So if you was born around gang bangers, drug dealers, and you saw that all the way up until you were 7 years old, you start to mimic that environment. And a lot of us, we mimicked the environments we came from. Indoctrination, it works on all different levels. But for the sake of this video, we're talking about religion and things like that and belief systems. But it can happen other ways as well. So, over time, their religion became our religion. Their fears became our fears. Their ideology became our ideology. And it was never explained to us. It was enforced with repetition. And it stuck and it became our reality. And we started to operate from that indoctrination from the parents. Then it gets worse. The next indoctrination pipeline, they sent your ass to the original indoctrination camp, which is your fucking school. And in this school, you are taught how to be a servant, how to be a worker. They taught you how to read, but they didn't teach you how to reason. Critical think, for those of you who don't know what reason means. They didn't teach you that. They didn't teach you how to file taxes, how to eat to live, what is spirituality. They didn't teach you how wealth creation, how ownership worked, paying mortgages, economics. They didn't teach you none of that. They taught you how to obey, conform, don't challenge the teacher, and be a good little old student. And fall in line with what the teacher was telling you. Then you grow up, you go home from that same indoctrination, that same indoctrination pipeline. Then your parents put your ass in front of that goddamn TV. That television. And that television, guess what that was? Programming. Television programming. So, you got indoctrinated from the parent, the school. Now, we finna put you in front of this TV. In front of this TV, we finna tell you what success look like, what you should desire, what kind of cars you should desire, what kind of wants you should have, how your body should look, what a normal, perfect family should look like for you, what you should fear, all of that. The news that come on, and then they use fear tactics to get you to fall in line. Oh, this is happening. Do this. And it's just, all of this is stripping the light. Hey, everything, your true authentic self is just raw. It's just stripping the shit away from you. Everything that is you is being stripped away. Then, the next indoctrinational pipeline is the spiritual indoctrination center. You know what that is? Your fucking church. So now, if you came from a hyper religious family, they put your ass at the church. And at this indoctrinational place, you was taught your mind, your authentic self, your thoughts are evil. You are a sinner. You are cursed. In order for you to be good, you need to be washed by the blood of the Lamb. And no matter what you do, you are a filthy rag. You was also taught at this spiritual indoctrination center called the church that anybody who don't believe in this form of indoctrination, hate them. Anybody who goes against it, anybody who step out of line with it, hate them. Not only that, you was taught from this same spiritual indoctrination center, you was taught how to take on a poverty mindset. Money is the root of all evil, but make sure you bring your tithes and offerings to the storehouse. Make sure you give me 10% of your income. Yeah, hey, it's a sin it's hard for a rich man to enter heaven. But at the same time, the person who preached that shit to you, he's showing up to the church with a Bentley. He drive cars you will never drive. He live in houses you will never own. That house, that mansion he got, you will never step foot in that goddamn house. But while preaching all that to you, he enjoyed his riches, and he's teaching you how to survive in poverty and take on a poverty mindset. And over time, dealing with all these phases of indoctrination, what happened is you start operating like that in the world. You start operating from you learn how to shrink. For example, say you got friends, and you came from the black neighborhood like me. Say you was a nerdy black dude. You like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pokemon, anime. You like ride the skateboard. But then some of your friends like gangster rap. So now, instead of you showing that authentic part of you, you bury that and you take on what everybody else tell you to take on. And it happens all throughout your life. Belief systems. They basically stripped you of your natural identity. So now, you don't know who you are, so you cling to shit. You start clinging to belief systems. You start clinging to, hey, you don't have your own set of belief systems and things you follow. You follow what everybody else tell you to follow. And you start and let's just say you start realizing, hey, I'm indoctrinated, man. I'm fucked up. I don't really believe this. What you will start to have, you're going to have people that's going to try to put your ass back in the box. Because now, when you start rebelling and you start, your personality is starting to rise up, every time your true, authentic personality rise up, it's somebody trying to shame you back into the script that society wrote for you. So now you say, you know what? I'm tired of hiding my weird, nerdy side. I'm going to ride my skateboard. I'm going to do all this. Now people start making fun of you. You know what? I don't believe in this religion. I don't want to do this. Oh, you're evil. God don't like that. You're going to hell. And being indoctrinated like that, it robs you of your voice, man. It robs you of who you came to be. So, if you truly want to know if your beliefs was chosen for you, number one, do you know where your beliefs came from? Do you know the origins of the beliefs you are carrying around? It's a lot of people walking around with religions and ideologies, and they clinging on to this shit, and they don't have no goddamn idea where it came from. And it's so bad, people are willing to die for some shit they don't even know where it came from. Do you know the origins? Do you know where this shit come from? Number two, are you allowed to freely question and do your own research when it comes to your beliefs without being punished? Because in most religions today, you are taught that if you question God, you're evil. Anytime you question anything, it's consequences to pay. Are you encouraged to do your research? Are you encouraged to do that? And when it comes to these beliefs and ideologies, if the answer is no, somebody chose that shit for you. And last but not least, can you argue against your religion, your ideology, your beliefs from a different perspective? Can you? What do I mean by this? For those of you that don't know me, I have a journalism background. I used to want to go to school to be a journalist for ESPN. I didn't make it because, as you can see, my personality is very strong. So they told me like, oh no, we can't really. The way you need your own platform. They was like, you need to go to YouTube because the way we do things at ESPN, the way your personality and how you come off in front of the camera, we can't really have that because the sponsors don't like, aggressive black man syndrome. You know how that goes. But when I was trying to become a journalist, I had this teacher, and this dude was cold. He said, in order to be a good journalist, you have to be able to argue your points from both sides. Because I was trying to be an investigative journalist. Like, I was going to do it for sports or the news station. And he was like, you have to become the person where you can be able to argue your point of view from each side. So say you work for Channel 7 ABC, and they send you to do a story, instead of being biased with your storyteller, you got to be able to argue. You got to be able to argue your point from both sides. So let's just say they sent me to tell us, say, I got to do a story, and it's on a childhood friend. This is somebody I personally know. I have to be able to tell that story in the newsroom and report about that without being emotional. Mind you, I can probably know this person behind the scenes. I can know that this person, hey, this story is bullshit, they lying. But I still had to show up with integrity and report that story without being emotional. If I worked at ESPN, I might have to do a story on my brother. And let's just say my brother played for the Packers and he ain't been playing well. Hey, make this story about your brother. Let's go. And I have to critique his game without being emotional and give straight facts without being shook. Lawyers do this same skill. Journalism and lawyers, some of your best journalists and lawyers, they know how to argue from both sides of the coin. Because you can't come off as being biased when you're doing journalism. Because the people can feel that. So you got to be neutral. So let's say as a lawyer. As a lawyer, I work for the law firm, I don't know what my words. I work for the law firm, and a murderer, what came across my desk as a lawyer is a murderer. And I have to prove this murderer didn't kill these people. Some cases, you might get a case where it's complete, the evidence is matching up. But as a lawyer, my job is to give him less time or get him completely off. So in order for me to do that, the people that's going against us, I have to master everything they finna throw at us. And when I'm mastering it, I have to be able to find holes. I gotta find holes and contradictions in the case they gave me. And then once I find all those, I have to argue, I gotta get him off or get him less time based off all the cracks in the story I found. And when I'm doing that, I have to see my client just like the people that's going against him see him. And I have to, we going up against these people. They say you did this. Okay, so I have to judge this case just like they see you. And then, it's holes here, it's holes here. So when the trial start, I'm tackling every holes, and now I can get him less time or get him off. And that's how you see a lot of murderers and people that deserve to be in prison. That's how they get off. And that's the same way you got to be with your religion. So say you a Muslim. Can you argue? Can you be a Muslim and argue against your Muslim belief from an atheist point? Most people that are in these religions, they can't fucking do that. Like me, I'm an agnostic atheist. I know how to argue against agnostic. I don't know what the fuck wrong with my words. I know how to argue against agnostic atheists from a Christian point of view. I know how to argue for Christians against atheists. All of that shit. And when you develop a skill like this, you become biased. And guess what that shows? You chose your belief because you was able to see the contradictions. You was able to see the bullshit and say, you know what? I see all of this. I see what they saying. I see what he's saying. I'm going to stick right here. And that's how you don't fall for confirmation bias bullshit. And most people that are in these religions, they can't do that. The moment you start presenting evidence that goes against what they believe, they get fucking frustrated. Not me. I know how to go from, sometimes I like starting shit sometimes. I like starting shit with folks. Every once in a while, some petty shit. So I'll go fuck with the atheists. I'll go and I'll argue like I'm a Christian. And I'll be fucking them up from the Christian point of view. And they be mad as hell. And then I'll let them know like, hey man, it's me, man. I was just fucking with y'all. Like I know how to flip flop. And that's how you gotta be with your beliefs. That's how you don't fall for bullshit. And last but not least, number 4, research everything, question everything you've been never taught, man. Question every fucking thing you've been taught. And stop looking at confirmation bias. Question everything you was ever taught. And look at both sides of the arguments. What the atheists got to say, what the naysayers got to say, the history around the origin. That's all I got. And remember, you might be lonely, you might be isolated, and that doesn't mean you are unlovable. That just means you ain't found your tribe yet. Remember, you are loved. I'm out, I'm going.